Today's episode is going to be raw, honest, and very close to my heart. We are talking about trauma, the kind of pain that doesn't just live in memories, but settles inside your body, your breath, your voice, and the way you look at yourself. If you have ever felt unseen, unheard, or broken, this space is for you. So take a deep breath with me and let's begin. Have you ever gone through something painful and even after it was over, your body acted like it was still happening? You tried to smile, you tried to move on, but deep inside, something remains stuck. The fear, the sadness, the heaviness. That is what trauma feels like. It is not only in our mind, it lives in our body, our heart, and our soul. Trauma भनेको यस्तो पीडा हो जुन सम्झनामा मात्र बस्दैन। यो त हाम्रो शरीरभित्रै बस्छ, हाम्रो सासमा मिसिन्छ, आवाजमा सुनिन्छ र हामी आफूलाई कसरी हेर्छौं त्यो हेर्ने तरिकासम्म बदलिदिन्छ। Let's talk about the wounds we don't see. Hello and namaste. Welcome back to Sara Khushiko Yatra, the journey to complete happiness. I'm your friend Sabbu and I'm so grateful that you are here today. And I would like to wish you all a very happy New Year 2026. May this new year brings you lots of hope, healing, and excitement in your life. This is my first episode of this brand new year, and I'm so grateful for my beautiful viewers for listening, supporting, and for sending me such a beautiful messages. Thank you for all the love and support that you've given to us. And today, I want to start my very first episode for this year by talking about something that so many of us live through quietly. Something that changes how we see ourselves, how we love, and how safe we feel in this world. I want to talk about trauma. Yo episode lekhne belama, I got re-traumatized and it took me a while to finish writing this up. I doubted on my decision of talking about trauma in my podcast, as it will be too personal, very hurtful, and heavy. I thought I healed myself from that part of my life, but then I realized I haven't. It took a toll on me for a few days, and after seeing my psychologist, it helped me to get through those emotions. So here I am today, being very brave and strong and also confident to talk about it because I want everyone to understand what it feels like to be traumatized and how they can help their loved ones or family or friends who is going through same rough times. Trauma is not just a word. It is lived, it is felt, and it is carried. And if sharing my experience can help even one person feel understood, then it's worth it. So आउनुस् सुरु गरौँ हाम्रो सारा खुशीको यात्रा. In the silence of the soul, a whisper takes flight. A journey begins from shadow to light. Hello and namaste. Welcome to Sara Khushiko Yatra, the journey to complete happiness. And I'm your friend Sabbu. Let's start with understanding trauma. Trauma is the emotional, physical, and psychological impact of a painful experience. In simple words, trauma happens when something is too much for your mind and body to handle. It can make you feel helpless, scared, overwhelmed, confused, angry, numb. And there is a difference between trauma and stress. We all have jobs and situations in our life which can get stressful and heavy sometimes. And at that moment, we all feel same symptoms like getting scared, angry, frustrated, confused, and etc. But there's a difference between trauma and stress. Stress comes from temporary situations like paying bills, deadlines, arguments, and when the situation ends, the stress slowly goes away. But trauma is different. Even when the event is over, your body still feels unsafe. It keeps reacting as if the danger is still happening. Trauma can happen from one big scary event, like a motor vehicle accident, losing someone you love, any sort of abuse, assault, natural disasters like fire, flooding, etc. Or from many small painful experiences that pile up over time, like childhood trauma, any kind of violence, physical violence, verbal violence, emotional, financial, sexual, pregnancy, childbirth challenges, neglect, constant criticism, etc. Even witnessing a traumatic event can make you traumatized as well. So when you experience these traumatizing events, you feel unsafe. It will hurt your well-being and makes you feel like your life is in danger. That's why trauma is not the event that happens. Trauma is how you respond to it. Trauma भनेको घटना भइसकेपछि तपाईको शरीरले देखाउने प्रतिक्रिया हो. Trauma is the repeated reaction your body has after the event. That event itself is over, but you continue to react to things as if it is still happening and as if you are in danger. Your body stays alert. Your mind becomes careful. Your heart becomes guarded. Now, you are no longer living. You are surviving. You are in survival mode. Before explaining it further, I want to tell you about our amazing brain, and that's called ancient animal brain. This instinctive animal brain is inside every human being. This is a part of the brain that works like an animal's brain. That's why it is called instinctive animal brain. Its only job is to keep you alive. It doesn't stop to think, it doesn't analyze the situation, and it doesn't wait for logic. It just reacts. The moment it feels danger, even if the danger is not real, this part of your brain jumps in and takes control. It's fast, it's automatic, and very, very powerful. So when it senses danger, it pushes you into fight, flight, and freeze mode. Fight means getting angry, defending yourself. Flight means running away, avoiding, escaping. And freeze means shutting down, becoming numb and silent. And do you know why it is called the animal brain? Because it reacts like any animal would, like a deer running away from a noise, a cat freezing when they get scared, and a dog fighting when they feel threatened. Humans still have this same survival system built inside us. It's ancient and powerful. Let me explain it in more detail. So fight mode is when our survival brain tells us to defend ourselves. This is where anger often appears. Not because we are bad or aggressive, but because the brain thinks, I need to protect myself right now. For example, imagine seeing a cockroach or mosquitoes. We sense danger. Mosquito देख्ने बित्तिकै ओहो अब यसले हामीलाई टोक्छ भनेर एउटा danger sense गरिहाल्छ and immediately we go into fight mode. We use insect spray or ट्याप्पै यसरी हानेर मार्दिहाल्छौँ. That is fight mode. It's obvious and visible because the danger looks physical. आँखाले देखिन्छ नि त. But with internal danger, things are different. If someone has a painful past, maybe they were ignored, misunderstood, or never felt safe to speak, then in that case, even a small comment or judgment from others can feel like a threat. They might react with anger or frustration, not because they want to hurt anyone, but because their brain is now shouting, "No one listened to me before. I won't let this happen again. I need to protect myself." So you see, anger is not just an emotion. It becomes a defense mechanism which senses danger and tries to protect the person. It is the brain's way of fighting for dignity, respect, and understanding. It is not just an emotion, it's survival. पहिला मलाई यो बारेमा थाहा थिएन. सबैले म यो खाली रिसाउँछ मात्रै भन्थ्यो. Now I know it was my way of defending myself. Now let's move on to the flight mode. Flight mode is when our survival brain tells us to run away from danger. If we see something physically scary, like a snake, our first reaction is to move back or run away as fast as we can. That's easy to understand because the danger is visible to everyone. But internal danger is again different and often it's invisible. Imagine someone who has been traumatized by a motor vehicle accident. Even after they have healed physically, their mind remembers the fear. So, in that situation, they might avoid the road where the accident happened. They may refuse to drive there or even refuse to be in a car. They are not being dramatic or overreacting. Their survival brain is simply saying, "That place hurt me before, I'm not going back there again." So they run away. They run away from the memory, not from the road. And this is also flight mode, skipping anything that reminds them of the pain. And now freeze mode, it is completely different. It happens when the brain feels so overwhelmed and shocked that it shuts down. Think of someone who has experienced physical abuse, domestic violence, or sexual trauma. In those moments, they are so terrified and helpless that their brain cannot choose fight or flight. They can't run. They can't defend themselves. Their mind and body simply freeze. They collapse into silence. Their body becomes still, and their brain disconnects as a way to survive the unbearable pain. Freezing is not a choice. It is the brain's very last way of protecting the person when everything else feels impossible. Their brain shuts down and they freeze, surrendering themselves to that dangerous situation, like giving up. And these reactions, they are very automatic. All fight, flight, and freeze mode, they are automatic. म रिसाउँछु भनेर म रिसाउने नै होइन. It just happens very quickly in a split seconds. It's not your thinking brain making decisions. It's your body's instinctive animal brain trying to protect you from danger. This part of your brain cares about only one thing. Am I safe right now? When someone goes through trauma, this part of your brain becomes extremely sensitive. Everything feels like a threat. Even small things can trigger big emotions. That's why traumatized people, they tend to overreact, shut down, avoid certain places or even people, get scared without knowing why. It's their brain protecting them. Their brain is stuck in survival mode. And one of the biggest things that can help reduce the impact of trauma is having supportive people around you when it happens. When someone comforts you, listens to you, or stands by you, your body feels safer. The emotional wound becomes smaller, they shrink, and you are less likely to be deeply traumatized by it. Example, when as a kid we got bitten by the dog, it's really scary because you are a kid and then you are crying, but If your parents immediately picks you up, comfort you, acknowledge your pain and make you feel safe, the experience now doesn't leave a deep wound inside you. You will recover emotionally because your sense of safety and trust stays intact. Humans, we are emotional beings. हामी भावनात्मक प्राणी हौं and we deeply rely on one another for emotional security. As long as we have caring, supportive relationships, we can usually handle difficult or painful events better way. But what if the people who were supposed to protect you, comfort you, and make you feel safe were actually the ones who made it worse? What if your support system became the reason you broke even more? When the people you trusted the most judge you, blame you, or ignore your pain. This is when trauma goes deeper because the wound is not just from the event anymore. It's from the betrayal, the loneliness, the lack of understanding. That's when you start questioning your worth. You begin to wonder if maybe it was your fault. And that's the hardest kind of feeling. When the people who were supposed to be your safe space become the reason you no longer feel safe anywhere. And that's how my story begins. For me, trauma came disguised as motherhood. I know getting pregnant, having children is supposed to be beautiful. And I was so excited. I was very excited to be a mom. I wanted to be that glowing mother who everyone talks about. But reality hit differently. Both of my pregnancies were difficult. I had severe morning sickness for months. I was taken to hospital because I was so dehydrated. Both my babies were big, almost 5 kilos at birth. And I had C-sections both times. Recovery was extremely painful. I was in so much pain that I passed out in hospital when trying to get up from the bed. Now you can imagine, मलाई कति चाहिँ थियो होला त त्यो बेलाको पीडा भनेर कि म बेहोसै भए म उठ्नै सकिन बेडबाट. So it was that painful. And breastfeeding, that was another nightmare. Low milk supply, endless guilt, sleepless nights. I felt like my body had failed me. Everyone around me saw as a new mother with 2 beautiful girls. But what they didn't see was the woman who was breaking inside. Angry, anxious, unheard, unseen, and exhausted. I was already battling with my pain and emotions, and then came the comments, the judgments, not from strangers, but from people around me, from those people who you thought would understand you and support you. Comments about my weight, anger, how should I behave, and etc. Those were very harsh and nasty comments. Comments like, you are always angry, everybody can see you are angry, don't argue in front of everyone, what will others say, you look fat, everybody goes through the same pain, अलिअलि त सहनु पनि पर्छ, बसी नराख न, don't be lazy, you have 2 girls, try for a boy. And when I said no, that's when I heard something unimaginable from them. I can't say everything here, but those words got deeper than any surgery scar. Instead of comfort, I received criticism. Instead of understanding, I received blame. I felt small, worthless. I started believing maybe I wasn't enough as a woman, as a daughter-in-law, as a wife, and as a mother. I started believing something was wrong with me because everybody thought I was angry. But the truth was, I wasn't angry. I was hurting. I was not weak. I was struggling silently and loudly as well because I used to get upset and I used to get angry. I'm so grateful that my husband was there for me. He's the one who has seen me in my worst and in my best. Some days were so dark and heavy that I just used to cry for a whole day. And my husband had no idea of how to comfort me, but he was there trying his best and doing his best. We are now together since 18 years, and without his love and support, I don't think I would have survived those times. And even though my husband loved me deeply, there was a time when I felt disconnected from him too. It's like I was surrounded by people, but completely alone, completely. For years and years, I thought it was just me being weak. Doctors, they just said baby blues. But 7 years later, I learned it wasn't just sadness. It was postpartum depression. It was trauma. It was not my anger, but it was my body screaming for help because it sensed danger when I was being attacked with those words. Attack भनेको weapons, हात उठाउँदैमा मात्र attack हुँदैन. Words are most dangerous weapon that you can use to hurt people. And those were used to me so many times for so many years. It took me a very long time to heal from this pain. And I'm grateful that I'm doing this here in front of you, everyone. पहिला म यो कुराहरू भन्न पनि सक्दिनँ थिएँ, भन्न बित्तिकै मलाई यस्तो म ब्रेकडाउन भइहाल्थेँ. अहिले I have been trying a lot. यो मेरो जर्नी स्टार्ट भएको it's been 2 years now. And सम्हाल्दै यति गरिरहेको छु म एभ्रीडे, यति गरिरहेको छु कोसिस हिल हुनको लागि. So I'm sorry, my eyes were full of tears, but I tried my best to hold it back. So you see, trauma is not always war or disaster. It can be something as human as childbirth, loss, betrayal, or feeling unseen. When you experience something so painful and overwhelming, your brain and body go into survival mode. Your animal brain, the one that controls fear and danger, keeps saying, I'm not safe, I'm not safe, I'm not safe all the time. Even when there is no real threat. मान्छेले हेर्दाखेरि त्यस्तो केही देख्दैन, but it is inside us. And that's why people who have experienced trauma often find it hard to feel joy, to connect, or to trust again. Their body stays on alert as if the danger never ended. This constant stress affects your hormones, immune system, physical health, mental health, and overall health. It changes how we breathe, sleep, eat, love, and even how we think about ourselves. Trauma, sometimes it shows up as anger, sometimes as anxiety. Sometimes you numb yourself by doing overwork, overthink, overgive, overeat, just so that you don't have to feel that pain again. Your body remembers what your mind tries to forget. And that's why it's called the body keeps the score. But here is something beautiful I want to say, and that I want you to remember. Trauma doesn't mean you are weak. It means you survived something your soul wasn't ready for. And healing takes time and compassion, not from others, but from yourself first. This is why self-love is so important. मैले के खोजेको भनेर मलाई मात्रै थाहा हुन्छ. Only I know what is my deep desire and how I can make myself happy. अरूलाई भनेर त they can try, but God knows if they can do it for you in the exact same way that you are expecting. So, love yourself. Love yourself first. Put yourself number one. And here are a few things that I want to share with you today, which has helped me to heal. Number one, breathe. When you feel panic arising, close your eyes and take slow, deep breaths. Nice and slow breaths for at least 10 times And imagine you are inhaling peace when you breathe in and exhaling pain and suffering when you breathe out. Especially breathe out garda चाहिँ imagine that all the toxins and negativity is coming out of you and tell yourself, I am safe now. Number 2, ground yourself. Especially if you feel like you are getting very anxious and having a panic attack, difficulty to breathe, when you feel shaky and can't sit still. Look around and name 5 things you can see, 4 things you can touch, 3 things you can hear, 2 things you can smell, and 1 you can taste. It helps to activate your 5 senses, and it will help your brain to remember to bring back you into the present moment. Number 3, talk about it. You don't have to tell the whole world. Just find someone safe that can be your friend, therapist, partner, and speak your truth. Say it out loud, releases its power over you. Number 4, move your body. Trauma lives in your body, so let it move, dance, walk, stretch, cry. Healing is not always quiet. Sometimes it's shaking, trembling, releasing. And number 5, don't rush your healing. Some days you'll feel light and some days you'll feel like you are falling back. But don't give up. Do the right thing that you are supposed to do and keep going. Because healing isn't about forgetting the past. It's about making peace with it. यति भन्दै गर्दा आजको लागि मेरो बिदा माग्ने बेला पनि भयो. Today, we talked about trauma, our primitive animal brain, and I also shared a part of my story as well. So, if you are listening to this right now and your heart feels heavy, please know that you are not broken. You are not weak, and you are not alone. I'm there for you. I know exactly what it feels like to be lost, overwhelmed, and alone. And that's why I started this podcast. So to all of you listening today, I just want to tell you that the trauma might have changed you, but it didn't destroy you. There is still light inside you. There is still love inside you. And there is still hope inside you. And with every gentle breath, with every small act of self-kindness, you are coming back home to yourself. Because healing doesn't mean the story disappears. It just means you can finally tell your story without it breaking you anymore. So thank you for being here today, for holding a space, for feeling with me. If this episode touched you in any way, I want you to know you are not alone in this journey. Together we heal, together we rise, because your heart deserves peace. So thank you for being here today. You are already on the path and you are already doing much better than you think. If you like this video and you can resonate with my words, please share this episode with your friends and family. And please follow, subscribe, and join me again for more stories of healing, hope, and happiness. This is Sabbu, sending you love, calmness, and a little spark of happiness. Thank you and namaste.